Welcome to Tour Junkies After Dark. I am your host, Pat Perry, and I'm with my co-host, Mr. David Barnett, because tonight I have decided to take over as Mr. David Barnett is drinking lots of vodka. And so that's what happens. I get to take over and we get to see how things go because he said it literally like minutes before we started that I was taking over this show as well as the last show at the end because we just recorded our podcast. We had a lot of agreement. We had some disagreement. But tonight we're going to talk about some disagreement. We're going to give you our bets and plays for the week in the DraftKings Sportsbook, also our DFS sort of disagreements, maybe some other stuff, top 20. I don't know. I have no idea what David has in store for us. I literally don't. He could start talking about baby giraffes and how they're born later. I mean, like that could happen with what the way my good friend DB is right now. But here we are, Tour Junkies After Dark. So let's get started. I'm going to talk about the course real quick, unless you have any first thoughts, David, that you want to talk about as far as the Vivint Houston Open, where we are this week on a municipal golf course.
As long as Brendan Steele or Webb Simpson's golf swing is not in the field, I will refrain from comparing them to newborn giraffe falling from their mother.
Okay, great thought there. Thank you, David Barnett. Let's talk about the course this week. We are at a new course that we have not seen. We are at Memorial Park Golf Course in Houston, Texas. This is a par 72, playing just over 7,400 yards. We got a full field event, 132 players this week. T65 and ties will make the cut. It is Bermuda grass, tee to green, so that's something we'll want to take note of. And this course has been open for a long time, since 1912. But recently, a guy by the name of Tom Doak and a guy by the name of Brooks Koepka did the redesign of this course, which I think is surprising. We don't think of Brooks Koepka as being that creative of a whatever. He had something to do with this redesign. And here's the deal. Big kind of parkland style golf course, wide fairways. The rough is going to be thick this week, but the fairways aren't going to be that tough to hit. There's hardly any bunkers on this course. There's 19 bunkers on this course, which is ridiculous. And they're mostly all around the greens. Brooks Koepka said in his highfalutin self that, but bunkers don't really matter to tour players, so I'm just not going to put a lot of bunkers on this course. So
get out of here, bunkers. Get out of here.
So that's a thing there. A lot of slope, though, on these greens, and there's a lot of runoff. So I think scrambling is going to be something we're going to look at. These greens are going to be played really quick. A lot of, we've heard from some people that these are kind of goofy greens, and I think what that means is just how slopey they are, and you're going to have to hit them in the right spot. So I think strokes gained approach is going to be important as well. We've seen a lot of rain in this area recently, so I think it's going to be soft. This is going to be another course, again, where there's going to be a lot of scoring, and we've got 5 par 5s this week, which we don't really see a whole lot.
Doggy.
We did just see it a few weeks ago at Sherwood. But anyway, so there you go. Other than par 5 scoring, I mentioned scrambling. Approach is my number one stat. I'm going to look at putting on Bermuda as well. I like a little strokes gained off the tee sprinkled in. And your defending champion, by the way, is Lanto Griffin, who is in the field. Obviously, that was on a different course. David, any thoughts from you outside of what I just mentioned that you can even remember of what I said on the course?
Par 5s are big. You said it. 5 par 5s. They're going to play 20 par 5s if they make the cut. Only 132 players. Top 65 and ties make the cut. We talked on the podcast about our differing thoughts on whether the 36 players that are in this field playing Augusta National next week are more or less attractive to us. So check out the Tour Junkies podcast to hear more on that. That's all I got.
Okay. Well, let's start with a guy that we
All right,
both
have a
had
good
some.
night, everybody. May your screens be green.
Thank you. Out.
Oh, nope, just kidding. Okay.
I'm kidding. Okay, let's start
Just
with
kidding.
Brooks Koepka. I like Brooks Koepka this week. I think he's a
Mm-hmm.
good play. He was part of your narrative that, he's just kind of in the field to just, I don't know, just feel his way around, shake some hands, kiss some babies, and then he's off to Augusta. That's like all you care about. But for me, I think
Yeah.
actually Brooks is in this field to find some form, to play well, to try and compete, and to try and get himself in contention so he can feel that heading into a major, which we all know Brooks Koepka lives for majors. That has been his
Yeah, he
mantra
does.
literally his whole
Yes.
career. So
Is
I
the
like him
Houston
this
Open a
week.
major?
No, it's not.
Then he
But I
ain't living
think
for it.
you can still try and treat it as that in your mind and try to play well and
In
win.
your
And
mind.
look, he's going to be low owned for sure.
False.
He checks all
Fake
the
news.
boxes.
I don't think he is.
I think he is. Yes, I
No,
do.
he's
I
not.
do think it. People are going to play Hatton, which is right there at 10-3. They
Go play
love
Brooks.
Hatton. They're going to try and play Hideki, who you did never mention, which is
Play Brooks
shocking
over.
because you mentioned Hideki every day in the field. Anyway, I like Brooks Koepka this week. Outside of your allergies and everything that is just going wrong with you right now, tell me why you wouldn't play Brooks this week, other than the narrative of the fact that he's whatever.
Well, everybody's going to talk about how he was a part designer on this renovation at Houston Park Golf Course. Memorial Park
Did
Golf
you just
Course.
say Houston Park Golf?
Memorial.
It's Municipal Park Golf Course.
No, it's not. It's Memorial.
I mean, it's Memorial Park Golf Course. We both just screwed that up. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, everybody's going to talk about his Instagram stories with his girlfriend last week and about how he was like 7 under through 8 holes. Frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. Listen, Brooks don't give a F about S unless it's a major. And the Houston Open is S in that sentence. He don't give a F about it. He's trying to find a little form, peak a little bit, see what he's got to work with, see what he needs to do before Thursday at Augusta National. Because there's not a major he wants more than the Masters. There's not. So I'm not. I just. Yes, does he know the course? Did he help reshape the course? Did he help take out a bunch of bunkers? Yes. But he's not worth the price. And I don't think he cares. I just don't. I think if you have Brooks who's there on, I just think he kind of wants to get through it. He's probably working on some stuff.
This is Brooks every week. In a regular tour event, it's always you're just like wondering what the hell he's thinking. So why not take a little bit of a risk, especially if he's a little bit lower owned?
I get that, but we haven't seen a great finish out of him since the St. Jude, which was a long time ago.
But he's had a long rest. I like him coming off a rest. And on Instagram, he was 5 under through 8 holes.
Like 7 under through 8 holes, actually. All right, well, there's a guy that you mentioned that I disagree with, and that is Jordan Spieth, who will be playing also next week, who is at $8,400 despite his garbage form. Hot garbage form. The Houston Open is not the Augusta National, which means no bent grass greens, which means all of a sudden he can't putt on anything that ain't bent, okay? He finished 41st at the Zozo, gaining 4 strokes on bent grass because he can putt on bent grass. That's it. His last top anything was a T13 at the Memorial, okay? But he sucks off the tee. He sucks with his irons. Altogether, he sucks. At 8,400, Jordan Spieth is not worth the play, yet you said you would play Jordan Spieth.
I will play him because I like
leading up to the Masters.
I think the ownership is going to be. He's going to be, if you look at his last several full field events that he's played in, he's under 5% owned, and he's actually outperformed where he's literally been priced. So I think that he's an okay play. I mean, it's not like I don't think he's going to win or anything, but Jordan is a great scrambler, which you have to do on this course. I think that's important. We've seen that. He's a pretty good putter in general. I mean, not necessarily on Bermuda grass. He's definitely better on bent. But he's also a guy that, like, look, if you just have a feeling about somebody and you want to play them, this is a good example of when you do that. You do that with Jordan Spieth this week. We've had several occasions of that recently with guys that you've hated that I've played, like Zach Johnson, like Doug Kim, the last few weeks that you just couldn't stand. And it turned out in the right way. So, look, if you have a gut about a guy, then play him. And I think that's what you do with Jordan Spieth this week. I don't care about the price. I don't care about the ball striking, the stats, and whatever else. You know, back in the day when things were much simpler, when we were walking to school and riding our bikes to school, instead of taking our helipads or whatever it is those kids ride these days, you know,
helipads?
I don't know those things.
Hoverboards?
Those hoverboards that they ride these days. Oh my God,
a helipad is where you land a helicopter, Pat.
Okay, but anyway, you know, back in the day, you used to just go with a little bit of gut and a little bit of feeling, and that's what I got with Jordan Spieth this week. So there you go.
All right, well, tell me what that sweet rosé-filled gut of yours thinks about some picks on DraftKings Sportsbook for the week.
Well, I'm glad you asked, even though I'm supposed to be running this show, and I should have asked that question.
But, well, I got nothing else to say about Jordan Spieth. So
okay, so I will start with the shortest odd guy that I will play, and that's actually Brooks Koepka at 22-1. I think that's a great value on DraftKings. If you look at him on other books, he's much shorter than that. So I think that is it. Just going off value alone at 22-1, I like Koepka. I like Siwoo Kim at 55-1. I think that's a great bet as well. I never get Siwoo right, but maybe I'll get him right this week. I like Cam Davis, a guy we mentioned as you like him as even a cash play.
Love Cam.
As far as DFS is concerned, 75-1. I mean, that's a good number as well. Also like Denny McCarthy, who was my cash play in that 7K range at 90-1. I like Sam Burns at 100-1. I like Mr. Harry Higgs, the man himself, at 151, and then 150-1. And then the final play, Austin Cook, who we saw finish second, I believe it was, at the Shriners just a few weeks ago. He's at 160-1. I like him as well on this course also. So there you go. Those are my picks. Wow. I don't really have any matchups or top 20s. I'm sure you do, but if you'll give us those right now, and then I'll close us out with some whatever else we're supposed to say.
Okay, well, there's no matchups out yet, but okay. You know, life is too short to bet favorites. Okay, let's just not do that. The shortest number I'll go is Sergio Garcia, who won just a few weeks ago. He is at 45-1 right now. Good ball striker, good in Texas, good if the wind picks up, good if the wind doesn't pick up. He's a ball striking son of a gun Spaniard, Sergio Garcia at 45-1. I like your Siwoo Kim play as well. I will take a little Doc Redman at 60-1, who I did not mention on DraftKings in terms of DFS, but I do like him at 60-1. I think Doc, young kid, has learned a little bit. Okay, he's had 2 Sundays now since the new season began where he has, well, actually in the last couple months, where he's had a chance to close it out on a Sunday and win a PGA Tour event, and he hasn't done it on a Sunday. And I think that's good for a young guy like that. I think he learns a little bit. I think he improves. I think he gets better. He had a chance to win the Bermuda last week. He didn't do it. He's 60-1. I like that number. I agree with your Cam Davis pick. I love me some Cam Davis. Getting into the long shots. Okay, it's long shot season. Brian Gay won last week. Okay, at 400-1. I'm not kidding. His mom owns a lingerie shop in Augusta. That is real. I'm not kidding.
I don't know what that has to do with a bet. But
It's
whatever.
long shot season, okay? A man whose mom owns a lingerie shop in Augusta is not a long shot. But Brian Gay is a long shot, and he won last week, okay? Dylan Fratelli is at 90-1, played at the University of Texas, Texas boy, South African born, ball striker. 90-1, I think, is an interesting number for Mr. Fratelli. I'm going to drop down to, let's see, who else? An Aussie. You mentioned Cam Davis, who's an Aussie. Aussie Matt Jones, who is Aussie-born, Texas, living at the moment. Good on par fives. Good ball striker. Finished fourth last week. I like me a little Matt Jones. Sepp Straka, the Austrian big boy that scores on par fives. You mentioned 5 par fives on this golf course. He's 110-1. I also like him as a top 20 bet at 4.5-1 currently on DraftKings. Now, another top 20 bet I like is a guy out of Alabama named Robbie Shelton, who I know you liked in DFS. Robbie's been playing pretty well right now. I think as a top 20, that's an interesting bet at 8-1. And then a couple top 10s. Bo Hostler at 12-1.
Oh, Bo! I had him
Old
last
Bo.
week, and he came through for me.
Yeah, we had some Bo. He finished good. He's playing well right now. He's a great putter. He wears a visor, a big visor, like large visor.
Very big, like extra large visor.
Played at the University of Texas. Okay. This tournament's in Houston, which is in Texas. He is at 12-1 as a top 10 bet right now. And then finally, my last bet of the evening that I think is worth taking a look at is another top 10 bet. His name is William Gordon. He's at 16-1, played at the University of Vanderbilt, hits it a fucking mile, okay? Literally a mile. Hits it a long way. Scores on par fives. He's kind of volatile, okay? He's a volatile guy. He may finish absolutely last, or he could finish top 10. He's got that kind of upside here at Memorial Park Golf Course at 16-1. So Will Gordon is my final play of the evening, and I will bow out and flip it over to you, Patrick.
Okay. All right. Well, those are some great plays, TB. Will Gordon, who I affectionately call Taco Supreme. If you want to listen more on why I call him that, then go listen to the Tour Junkies podcast, and you will see why Will Gordon is Taco Supreme. That being said, next week is the Masters. We will have all kinds of content for you on tourjunkies.com, all our outlets of whatever ways that you want to see us. And I'm excited though for the Houston Open, but we got the Masters next week. But anything else you got? You're done?
I'm excited about the Masters. I have to pee.
Okay. So there you go, folks. The Houston Open at Memorial Park Golf Club course, whatever. We're done. I'm out. See ya.
See ya.
Out.